Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. It is July the 25th, 2014. It is a Friday, and it's a pretty day outside today, but we've got some big changes coming up in store for you this weekend. Today's video update is sponsored by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless dent repair needs. Folks, they have a great traveling hail team, and we may need them this weekend because I've got severe weather to talk about in the forecast, in particular, mostly for Saturday evening, but also for Sunday. We'll talk about it in depth in this video. So write that number down, pause the screen if you need to, and tell them that Southern Indiana weather sent you. All right, satellite and radar into motion. We have a sort of a dying plume of rain moving our way. Anything that reaches here will likely be eaten up by the atmosphere. I don't really suspect that we're going to see much of any rain at all here in southern Indiana. Maybe an isolated sprinkle. That's about it. This is pretty much dying as it moves our direction. Otherwise, we got some clouds moving in as I forecasted, and mostly sunny skies have been taken over. We're turning into a more of a partly cloudy type of a situation. That may actually hold our temperatures down. I forecasted 82 for today, but we may end up more 79, 80, right around in there. But regardless, it's still a pleasant day overall and certainly not bad. Now, we got big changes on the way. The Storm Prediction Center has put us underneath of a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow, and it does include the entire state. Categorically, it's a slight risk. And probabilistically wise, it is an upper end slight risk for most of us. In fact, all of southern Indiana, except the very maybe Posey County and Evansville, Vanderburgh County. Just very small tip here, not in the upper end slight risk. Really, just the whole area in this upper end slight risk of 30%. And then that severe weather threat starts to shift off. We're still underneath of a slight risk for Sunday, and of course, categorically, we are in an upper end slight here for southern Indiana for portions of it as well, with the hatched areas being the potential for some significant severe weather. I'll talk about what all that means when we dive through everything here in a minute, but I do think that Saturday night late into early Sunday morning is going to be our best time for severe weather as I see it. Let's talk about that. Here's the reasons why. Let's take a look at our surface map. Here's what we're going to expect early tomorrow morning at about 8 a.m. Got a warm front moving our direction. I think we should have some ongoing storm and thunderstorm activity getting fired up and moving into the area tonight and into early tomorrow morning, I should say. Rather, as we move throughout the day, that warm front is well lifted off to our north, and we've got a cold front that's going to plow through to our south. That'll eventually sag its way down, and folks, this is going to be the focus for the severe weather that we have. All right, let's time it out on future radar now that we see where the risk areas are. Let me show you what future radar does. Here you can see that sort of dying area of showers and storms out to our west. By the time it reaches here, it's pretty much kaput into nothing. As I said, possibly an isolated sprinkle, but nothing much more than that. And then late during the overnight hours, later tonight and into the overnight hours, you have got potentially some rain here for the far southeastern corner of the state, but nothing here for the southwest. Move this on in time. Overnight hours look pretty dry. But by the time you come into 8 tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., here's 10 a.m., this is all Eastern time, we got some storms that start to fire up, really more over central Indiana, and then move out of the way. And then later during the afternoon hours, we get a break, and then watch this. You've got a huge complex of storms just start to blow up on us. And notice here we are at 20 EDT, so this is 8 p.m., 23 EDT here, this is 11 p.m. If I can get it to stay here, and you see it's just sort of blown up over us. Over the state, and some of us may end up getting some severe weather with this, but I want you to notice sort of the positioning on where this is at, and as this moves on, I think that first round could end up developing into what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, pushing its way to the east, but you notice it's sort of north of the US 50 corridor, and really counties here along the Ohio River and especially down into Kentucky really don't see anything with this first round there. But overnight hours we do get some more developing, and by 5 a.m. EDT we've got maybe potentially sort of a bowing line, and again I think the severe weather threat could even extend partially into the overnight hours, and we'll just have to monitor that and see. I think large hail and wind are our strongest threats. The tornado threat looks very isolated with this to me. The wind parameters that we need just aren't there for the tornadic development. in my opinion. And then, of course, that's gone. And then later Sunday afternoon, we have more storms that fire in the area. But the good news is, by the time we reach the end of the model here on Sunday afternoon and evening, I think the biggest chance is going to be already off to our east for that. So let me go back here and just sort of take everything off. And I want to sort of give you what I picture for tomorrow and beyond, as sort of time this out and lay the threads out as I see it. Best chance for severe weather, in my opinion, is going to be sort of in this area. All right. Basically, here's your US 50 corridor right in here. Basically, north of that is where I think the 30% risk zone should be. Boy, that is a terrible 30% that I'm drawing there. But technically, the 30% risk zone does encompass us down here. But really, I think this has the better chance, whereas this down here just doesn't have that great of a chance of seeing it the way the future radar products are wanting to indicate to us. And then, of course, by the time Sunday comes, really, I think the severe weather threat for us is going to be pretty minimal. I think by the time Sunday morning and onward comes on, really, you're going to be looking more in this area to end up with your severe weather threat. And I think most of us will be sort of free and clear from it by that particular point in time. So really, I think Saturday night late and into early Sunday morning, that's whenever we've got this potential MCS that could move through over the central Indiana portions. It could extend far down as far here into some of our southern Indiana counties, but counties closer to the Ohio River, it just doesn't look like it's going to be much of a chance with the way the models are taking that right now. Potentially with some rain late overnight. We'll have to see whether any of that stays severe. There is a chance of that, but it is certainly less the later on you go during the overnight hours. There are some other varying models out here, and I just want to show you these. These are model runs from last night. The ones from this morning are still processing with these. But you can see, again, the idea is, and this is as far as these models go out, and it's for 8 p.m. on Saturday night, and you can see, again, the idea with this is that really north of the US 50 corridor is where most of the really intense thunderstorm development stays. So we'll have to see whether that stays true or not, or whether that holds out. I'll have another video update out tomorrow morning very early in the day to sort of update you on the latest thinking, and we'll see whether this continues to stay that way or not. But I'm not ready to put all of southern Indiana in the clear at this point, but I do think north of US 50, so we'll say up through Vincennes and then over to Washington, over to Shoals, up to maybe Bedford, Seymour, and areas to the north. That would be sort of your zone of best chance for severe thunderstorm development as I see it. Plenty of severe weather parameters in play tomorrow. Cape, our convective available potential energy numbers are sort of off, not really off the charts, I should say, but they're high. By tomorrow afternoon, especially over portions of the area, you're looking at 4,000, even almost up to 5,000 or greater units of Cape, and that's plenty enough to fire severe thunderstorms. Precipitable water values are also extremely high. In fact, we're well over 2 inches and almost even to 2.6 in places here, and folks, that indicates the potential for some very, very, very heavy rain, and precipitable water values that high as well. With that strong of a cape, that also could be very intense lightning with these storms that come through as well. Another indicator towards that of me. Large hail, certainly a possibility. We do have strong enough winds, I think, that can support some organized severe weather. But you notice it's a little bit harder to see on this, but let me sort of try to zoom this in on you down here. And folks, my apologies. Let me get this over here. Here we go. Let's see if we can get you to see this a little bit better. I should have already done that on this tab. Here we go into Indiana right here. In fact, let me turn on this so I can draw on it. Here's the state of Indiana right here. And as you can see, look where the best wind parameters are. We're taking a look at bulk shear here. Here's the US 50 corridor sort of right in here. And notice with me that the very best severe weather parameters that we've got are sort of north of that in the state. Further sort of lending credence to my idea of what the future radars are showing, that I really think the best chance for severe weather stays north. Remember, our bulk shear numbers you really want greater than 35 to even 40 knots would be better of this bulk shear in order to get organized severe weather. And certainly we do see that in some places, but it's a little bit north of far extreme southern Indiana. Again, I'm not ready to say that extreme southern Indiana ends up getting cleared of the severe weather risk, but the chances are much lower there, in my opinion. If we also take a look at total amount of precipitation that we can expect out of this, you can see again, it is north of that US 50 corridor once again that we find the heaviest of the precipitation being had. And folks, there could be a couple of inches of rain potentially out of this in places. Again, those precipitable water values, that's just the amount of water that's in the atmosphere able to be rained out for a thunderstorm to tap and use. And folks, we could have some high storm total numbers out here, but down here in southern and the extreme southern Indiana, especially southwestern Indiana, you just don't get those impressive totals. And it looks like it's going to be sort of one of those misses for the Evansville area again. The way things look to me at this point could be a different story tomorrow morning, and so be sure to tune in to tomorrow morning's video. I'll make a sort of a quick update, the down and dirty on just what you need to know. All right. Now beyond this, we have some refreshing weather. We're going to warm up tomorrow and Sunday, and we're going to warm up to near 90 degrees on both of those days. All right. But beyond that, we have some very refreshing weather to take a look. Powerful cold front will sweep through the area on Sunday evening, turn our area back to a northwest flow on the winds, and then as it does, take a look at this. Folks, we are talking temperatures 70s for at least a couple of days, and then it is a slow warming trend after that, but not really that much of a warming. Our normal high at this point, this time of the year right now, should be 88 degrees. And beyond this weekend, you don't see any normal for the rest of the 16-day forecast as we see it on here. So beautiful weather is coming our way. We've still got that major cool down, and it's going to be an enjoyable thing once we get through this. But just a couple of days worth of rough weather at first, and then we got it from there. So again, just sort of timing everything out again. Storms for mainly north of US 50. South of US 50, it is still a chance, but it's more of an iffy chance. Probably some early Saturday morning storms. That clears out of here. Saturday afternoon looks mostly dry at this point. Then later on Saturday, a storm system should develop. And the question is how far those severe storms sag to the south part of the state. Keep tuned here to southern Indiana weather. Any watches or warnings that do happen will automatically post to our Facebook and Twitter accounts, and I'll be here to keep you updated with that as well, folks. But again, during the Saturday evening periods later in the day, say after 6 o'clock of the evening time into the overnight hours, that's whenever I think we've got our best chance for severe weather. That moves off to our east for Sunday. I would not be surprised at all during tomorrow's outlooks if most of Indiana is removed from the slight risk for severe weather on Sunday. I would if it were me, but I'm not the storm prediction sitter. They may see things a little bit differently than me. I'll report to you what they see regardless, but I think the biggest risk on Sunday pushes off to our east. Far southeastern Indiana may end up with the biggest chance there, but certainly the rest of the state pretty much in the clear for Sunday. Again, Saturday evening into the overnight hours into early Sunday morning, that is going to be our biggest time frame for what we could experience on some severe weather. All right, folks, let's go to southernindianaweather.com. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. I'm forecasting 82 today. That may be in jeopardy with the cloud cover rolling in, but a high upper 70s to near 80 is certainly likely at this point. Go down to the mid-60s tonight under partly cloudy skies. There you go. 91 for your high tomorrow. Strong to severe thunderstorms possible, especially during the late afternoon and evening hours, and those strong to severe thunderstorms could continue during the overnight hours as well. 89 on Sunday with more scattered severe thunderstorms, but we'll turn to the west-northwest for our winds later in the afternoon hours. And then look at that, 76 on Monday, maybe an isolated storm early in the day, but unseasonably cool, and it's going to be great weather. 78 Tuesday, Wednesday 80, only 81 on Thursday. Folks, it's going to be a gorgeous week next week, so make your plans now. It would be a good week to be on vacation if you've still got some vacation time. It is going to be absolutely perfect. All right, we'll keep an eye on the severe weather threat for you and update for you again with another video early tomorrow morning. Make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page and our Twitter page at SouthernINWX on Twitter for the latest updates. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great day, folks. Get your severe weather plans ready, and we'll get through this. Stay safe and take care.